Hey y'all. So today we are starting the book of Daniel. So as always, we're going to go ahead and start in the chapter context. So Daniel was taken captive when Babylon conquered the nation of Israel. The first chapter of the book establishes his history, his level of natural talent, and the depth of his faith. This is followed by a series of prophetic interpretations tied to Gentile nations in chapters 2 through 7. Chapters 8 through 12 focus on prophecies more closely related to the nation of Israel. Many of these details are restated or expanded in the book of Revelation. So let's get into this breakdown, part 1. The first chapter of this book introduces Daniel and explains how he became a renowned advisor under several pagan rulers. It also mentions 3 other Hebrew boys who will become part of a famous story of bravery and faith. Daniel, Hananiah, I hope I'm saying that right, Mishael, and Azariah were boys of royal families taken for a re-education in Babylon. As part of this, they would be immersed in Babylonian religion, culture, language, and literature. To represent the effort to change the youth's identities, the men in charge of their training renames them as Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And that's Daniel's 1 through 7. Most of the captured youth were probably interrogated easily into Babylonian culture. The 4 named in this chapter, however, remained committed to their faith. Though captive, they wanted to continue to obey God and his laws, period, including in matters of food. Daniel asked the man responsible for his training, the chief eunuch, to allow him to abstain from the king's food. The king's food would have been excellent, but also sorry, I got my videos mixed up, but let's go ahead and continue. The king's food would have been excellent, but also would have included unclean animals and not been prepared according to the law of Moses. Despite his great respect for Daniel, the chief eunuch hesitated to allow anyone to skip part of their re-education regimen. Daniel proposes a test, and in 10 days he proves that he and his fellow Hebrews can thrive on vegetables and water. Daniel's 1 8 through 16. God honors Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah with extraordinary wisdom and intellect. The use of their Hebrew names rather than their Babylonian titles expresses how God's providence brought them to their new roles. Daniel is also blessed with insight into dreams and visions. These skills would make all 4 important figures in Babylon and will force several conflicts between faithfulness and preservation, Daniel's 3 and then 6. Daniel will live on as a brilliant advisor through several regimen changes, surviving until the rule of Cyrus the Great. Daniel's 1:17 through 21. So let's get on to the breakdown, part 2. Daniel chapter 1 introduces the core theme of God's sovereignty, faithfulness in exile, and divine wisdom, showing how young Daniel and his friends maintained Jewish identity by refusing to defile themselves with Babylonian food, resulting in God granting them superior knowledge and favor to serve King Nebuchadnezzar, proving God's control even in a foreign country. Come on now. So, key themes and meanings. Number 1, God's sovereignty. God orchestrates the exile, placing Daniel in Babylon, and remains in control, giving power to kings, but ultimately working through his people. Number 2, faithfulness and purity. Daniel and his companions choose to obey God's dietary laws, no rich food or wine, rather than the king's provision, preventing ceremonial defilement, which demonstrates unwavering commitment. Number 3, divine favor and wisdom. As a reward for their faithfulness, God gives them knowledge, skill, and wisdom, making them far superior to other trainees, highlighting that loyalty to God brings blessings. Amen. Oh my God. Oh, that just hit me like a ton of bricks. My God. Okay. I'm so sorry, y'all. That just really hit me right now. Number 4, cultural identity. The chapter illustrates resisting assimilation into pagan culture, even when it means personal sacrifice by maintaining Hebrew names and practices. Number 5, testing and proving faith. Daniel proposes a 10-day test, vegetable slash water versus king's food, to prove that God's way is better, showing God's provision in adversity. So, in essence, Daniel chapter 1 sets the stage for the whole book by showing that even in the darkest times of exile, God empowers his faithful servants to thrive and demonstrate his superior wisdom and control over earthly empires. According, okay, yeah. All right, y'all. So that's all I have for the full breakdown of Daniel chapter 1. And I will see you guys later. Bye.